So this is no longer correct. Sir, good morning. Sir, can you see me?
Right there on the screen.
Kinda.
Is there some, Dexter, can you tell me, are they able, can you see me?
Yes, Your Honor, we can.
Okay. Sir, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, sir, tell me your name.
Your Honor, he has vision.
He's Stephen Huffnagel.
He has what?
He's kind of vision impaired.
I see. Okay. Mr. Huffnagel, you were arrested in case number 20MM4150 for battery, dating, violence. There is probable cause. Mr. Huffnagel, are you okay?
I want to know why I'm here.
Well, I just told you, you were arrested for a battery.
That woman.
Mr. Huffnagel, I'm not saying it's true. I'm just telling you why you're here, okay?
All right.
Bear with me. Is there a witness for Mr. Huffnagel?
They should be in your courtroom, Your Honor.
Oh, thank you, Dexter. Is there a witness here on Mr. Huffnagel's case?
I don't see what.
Okay. No, thank you. All right. Sir, you are not to have any contact with the victim in this case. You are to maintain a separate residence. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms, and I'm going to place you on a pretrial release.
And Your Honor, can you have a one-time return?
Yes. Mr. Huffnagel, if you need to go back to the house one time to get your things with the police, you may do so.
It's my house.
I understand. If she's not there, then you can stay there.
She's only a guest. I want her out of there.
You will have to do that through the civil court process,
Right.
but if she's not there, you can go. All right? Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, the next person on the docket, Stephen Cooper, is mental health.
All right. That's 20MM3259. Mr. Cooper is represented by the Office of the Public Defender. Do you want to waive his appearance? Enter a plea of not guilty? All right. That's a Division 50 case. His pretrial conference will be June 23rd at 2:30 p.m., courtroom 7C.
Your Honor, the next person on the docket, Jeffrey Anderson, is medical.
All right, I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent Mr. Anderson. Ms. Fowler, do you want to waive his appearance? All right, that's 20 CF 7060. He was arrested for tampering with physical evidence and possession of drug paraphernalia. There is probable cause. I'm going to release Mr. Anderson on his own recognizance at this time. He's not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription. Good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Damian Ayala.
Mr. Ayala, you're here in 20 CF 7080. You were arrested for burglary of a conveyance. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You are not to return to the scene or have any contact with any of the victims. And I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Jonathan Larinaga.
Sir, you have two cases this morning. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you on both. You were arrested pursuant to a probable cause warrant in 20 CF 6826 for fraudulent use of personal identification information and fraudulent use of credit cards. You are not to return to the Ollie's food store. Your bond on count 1 is 1,000. Your bond on count 2 will be 100. You were also arrested in 20 CF 7087 for 2 counts of attempted burglary of a conveyance. There is probable cause. Bond on count 1 is 1,000, bond on count 2 is 100. You're not to return to the scene or have any contact with the victim. I am gonna revoke the bonds in 20 CF 4202 and 20 CO 226. Those will be set at none. Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, the next person on the docket, Kirkpatrick Burt's Medical.
Okay. Miss Fowler, I'm gonna appoint your office. Do you wanna waive his appearance? That's 20 MM 4147. He was arrested for trespass on property after warning. There is probable cause. He's not to return to the Chevron gas station. I'm going to release him on his own recognizance at this time.
Your Honor, the next person on the docket is Cass Step
Yes.
Medical.
All right. Miss Fowler, I'll appoint your office as well. Did you want to waive his appearance?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And that's in 20 MM 487. He was arrested for trespass on property after warning. There's probable cause. He's not to return to Advent Health unless he has a medical and to do so. He's to abide by the trespass warning. I'm going to release him on his own recognizance, and I'm not going to take any action on his out on bond cases.
Your private attorney is next.
Oh, okay. Yes, your case.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Please place your appearance on the record.
Yes, sir. Patrick Rosinger on behalf of Raleigh Stewart.
Are you Mr. Stewart?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Your attorney is present in the courtroom with me. You were arrested in 20 CF 5211. This was pursuant to a warrant for false imprisonment and 3 counts of battery domestic violence. Is there a witness present for
Yes,
Mr.
there
Stewart?
is.
Okay. Ma'am, good morning.
Good morning.
Could you please raise your right hand to be sworn in by the clerk?
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God? Can you state your name for the record?
Dana Elise Matt.
Just write the receipt, just.
Did you want to inquire of Ms. Matz?
Ms. Matz, my name is Attorney Patrick Rosinger. Just wondering, are you currently in fear of Raleigh Stewart at all?
No, I'm not.
Okay, do you currently reside with Mr. Stewart?
I do.
What address would that be at?
It's at 5949 Bent Pine Drive, apartment 1039, Orlando, Florida 32822.
Would you like to continue to reside with Mr. Stewart?
I will.
Would you like to continue to have contact with Mr. Stewart?
Certainly.
That's all I have.
All right. Ms. Bush, did you have any questions for the witness? Okay. Mr. Stewart, at this time, I'm going to order that you are not to have any hostile contact with Ms. Matz. Do you understand what that means?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Okay. You're also not to possess any weapons or firearms.
Understood, Your Honor.
All right. I'm going to delete the condition on the warrant of maintain separate residence and do not possess or consume alcohol or illegal drugs. And Mr. Stewart, I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time.
Okay, Your Honor, thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. Reisinger, anything else? All right, thank you.
Spanish interpreters.
Yes. Did I do that on here? Yeah.
Good morning, this is Dalia Romero, Spanish interpreter on the line. Not sworn in yet, Your Honor.
Good morning, Ms. Romero. Could you please raise your right hand?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you solemnly swear to translate from Spanish to English, from English to Spanish, the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do. Dalia Romero, state certified Spanish interpreter for the record.
Thank you.
Sir, good morning. Please tell me your name.
Marco.
Marcos Rodriguez.
Marcos Rodriguez.
Mr. Rodriguez, you are here in case number 20 CF 7066. You were arrested for tampering with a witness to hinder communication.
Your Honor?
Yes?
I don't think they're coming through on the headset.
Oh,
One moment, Your Honor.
sure. It's quorum 2 at the BRC.
Thank you.
Sure. The case number is 20 CF 7066, and it's Marco Rodriguez. Rodriguez?
Sí, la escucho.
We can hear the interpreter now, Your Honor.
Oh, good. Okay. Mr. Rodriguez, you were arrested for tampering with a witness to hinder communication to law enforcement and for battery domestic violence. There's probable cause. Mr. Rodriguez, is it correct that you make $600 per week?
Sí, eso depende de las horas que trabaje.
Yes, that depends on the hours that I work.
Okay, and you don't have any dependents?
Bueno, tengo a mi hijo y mi hija que acaba de irse a la universidad.
I have my son and my daughter that just went to college.
Okay, so I'll put one. So that would change that, right? If you qualify 600 with one dependent?
That's fine.
Okay, I'm gonna make the correction here. Is there a witness for Mr. Rodriguez? All right. Sir, you are not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms.
No.
No.
Courtney, we can't qualify him. Yeah, thank you. All right, Mr. Rodriguez, I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time, sir.
Ok, muchísimas gracias.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Your Honor, the next person on the docket, Solomon Perez, he bonded.
Okay. And then that is all of the Spanish cases that we have this morning.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a great day.
Thanks so much, you too.
And after this, we're doing the resets.
Yes. Did any of the witnesses need a Spanish interpreter? I didn't ask. No? Okay. Yeah. Good morning, your name?
Daryl Ayers.
Ma'am, you are here in case number 20 CF 3059. You have violated your conditions of pretrial release. Judge White at this time has set your bond at none. You'll have to have your lawyer file a bond motion in that division. And I'm not going to take any action on your out on bond cases. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Her name, Daryl Ayers. You're welcome. Ma'am, good morning. Your name?
Amanda Cabello.
Miss Cabello, you are here in case number 20MM4132. You were arrested for resisting officer without violence. It looks like the state was to provide additional information regarding probable cause. Sure. Ms. Feller, do you know what the argument was that your colleague made? Okay. Okay. And I don't have any other notes. The only thing I could see that I thought maybe was that it was difficult to connect her to the car. There was facts lacking. whether or not she was the driver of the car. All right, that's what I thought. Okay. Is thinking about it? Okay. All right, I'm gonna pass your case, Ms. Corbello. The state's gonna provide some additional information on your case. That we're waiting for the printer to work. So once that happens, we'll call you back up, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Your Honor, if there's anybody else talking in the courtroom, we only can hear you. We can't hear the state or the public defender.
Oh, okay. Can you all make sure you speak directly into the mic as best as possible? Okay.
And we're doing domestics next.
I have one last reset. Jenny Leroy,
Yes, ma'am.
is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Miss Leroy, you're here in 20 CF 7039. You were arrested for aggravated battery, great bodily harm. There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Is there a witness here for Miss Leroy? All right, ma'am, you're not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms. You may have a one-time return with law enforcement if you need it to get your things. And I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
If I'm getting a no contact order, the address that's on the paper, on the report, is my mom's address. She's
Okay.
staying in her own apartment. I don't want to go home and she's there waiting for me. My sister, who's the victim, by the way. So
Right.
I don't want her harassing me on social media either. So if I have a no contact, I'll be happy if she have a no contact either. So that way I won't come back in here.
Right, so I don't have any jurisdiction over your sister to order her to do anything. So the no contact order pertains to you. So if she should call you, she should message you or do anything like that, you cannot respond. Even if she initiates the contact, she cannot respond. If you have concerns about your safety or anything like that with respect to her, you would need to go down to the courthouse and file for an injunction.
Okay.
Okay, but I can't order her to do anything.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome, ma'am.
How about this?
Sir, good morning, your name?
Good morning, Nick Javier Naranjo.
All right, so this one looks like Judge Johnson just didn't split the bond, so he said he revoked the bond and set a $5,000 bond, and there's 2 counts in that case. So I'm just gonna set it at $2,500 on each count. You understand, sir?
So I can get out today if I,
Yes, you can. The bond amount didn't change, it was a technical issue of where it needs to be set.
God,
Okay.
God bless you, thank you, because
All right, sir.
thank you so much.
This is-
sir.
You're welcome, sir. Have a nice day. 19 CF 15795. Judge Johnson had revoked that bond and reset it at 5,000, but the notes that I have indicates that there are 2 counts filed.
I just think that one.
So it just needs to be $2,500 on each. Nick Naranjo? Naranjo? You're welcome. All right. Are you Mr. Simmons?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Simmons, you are here in case number 20 CF 7051. You were arrested for petty theft with 2 prior convictions, possession of cocaine, possessing a drug without a prescription, and possession of drug paraphernalia. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Bond on count 1 will be $500. Bond on count 2, $150. 3 and 4, $100. Sir, you are not to return to the Wawa. Thank you. Ms. Smith? Tashana Smith?
She refused, Your Honor.
Ms. Fowler, I'm going to appoint your office to represent her. Do you want to waive her appearance? I saw that she was reset yesterday for mental health. And she does have several cases that I see, I'm sure that there are competency issues related to. She was arrested for state misdemeanors or trespassing in 20 MO 695. She's not to return to 7-Eleven. She's not to possess or consume any alcohol or controlled substances without a valid prescription. I'm going to release her on her own recognizance at this time, and I'm not going to take any action on the out on bond cases. Good morning, your name?
Naomi Green.
Miss Green, ma'am, you are here in case number 20 CF 7059. You were arrested for aggravated battery with a weapon.
Yes, ma'am.
There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Is there a witness for Miss Green? Okay. Ms. Green, you are not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Your bond is going to be set at $3,500, and then I'm revoking the bond in 18 CF 1919. That will be set at none.
I don't understand.
What don't you understand, Ms. Green?
I didn't hear the last part you said, Your Honor.
So you were out on bond in another case, which I've now revoked that bond. So you're going to have your lawyer file a bond motion in front of the trial judge.
Oh, I'm not out on bond on anything else.
Did I get that wrong? Okay, can I get her paperwork back? Oh. Let me take a look, Miss Green.
Yes, ma'am.
So it looks like you're on probation, and this is you have a violation of probation hearing.
On the 17th, yes, ma'am, for payment.
That's
not non-payment, yes, ma'am.
She was given an order to appear, notice to appear.
I've been going to my probations, seeing them, and the only time I didn't go is during the corona.
Right, no, I understand, ma'am. So this actually, she's not out on bond, Courtney, so I'm not gonna take any action with respect to that case. Miss Green?
Yes, ma'am.
Just note that your probation officer may now file an affidavit for violation of probation based upon this arrest, ma'am. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. I'm going to see her first. I'm going to call her first time as soon as I get out. And let her know what's going on.
Okay, ma'am, thank you.
So,
you can bond out.
Oh, okay, thank you, ma'am.
Unless there's a hold.
Okay, thank
She
you.
have all right. So this, okay, perfect. Thank you. Sir, good morning, tell me your name.
Ron Martin.
Mr. Martin, you are here in a few cases this morning. I will appoint a public defender to represent you in all of them.
Yes, ma'am.
You were arrested in 20 CF 7071 for battery, dating violence, false imprisonment, aggravated assault, aggravated battery with a weapon, and grand theft 3rd degree. There's probable cause for the offenses. Is there a witness for Mr. Martin? Mr. Martin, you are not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms. In this case, bond on count 1 is going to be 100. Bond on count 2 will be 150. Bond on count 3 is going to be $150. Bond on count 4 is going to be $3,500. Bond on count 5 will be $150. You have 20 MO 489. You were arrested for petty theft, for which there's also probable cause. Your bond is going to be $100. You're also not to return to the scene. You have 20 CF 7072. You were arrested for grand theft of a motor vehicle. There's probable cause for that offense as well. You're not to return to the scene or have any contact with the victim. Your bond in that case is $1,000. I'm revoking your release in 20 CT 3200. That bond will be set at none, as well as in 20 CT 3201 and 20 CT 3199. You'll have to have your lawyer file a motion in those cases, sir.
So do I have a bond or no?
You have a bond on the new cases, but on the cases you were already released on, those bonds have been revoked.
So that means I have no bond.
You can't bond out.
So I have no bond. Thank you.
Right. Yep. Good morning, sir. Your name?
Duntavia Stringfield.
Mr. Greenfield, you were arrested in 20 CF 7067 for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Good morning, ma'am. Tell me your name. You're Miss Womack? Yes. Okay. Is Yolanda Teal here? No. Okay. Ms. Womack, could you please raise your right hand to be sworn in?
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God? Yes. Can you state your name for the record, please?
Miss Womack, what's your relationship to Mr. Stringfield? Do you want to have contact with him?
Yes.
Are you afraid of him?
No.
How long have you been in a relationship with Mr. Stringfield?
For about 6 months, but I've been knowing him for like 10 years.
Okay. If I were to allow contact between the two of you, do you have any concerns about your safety?
No, ma'am. I'm expecting, so I don't think I'll be in harm's way.
Oh, you're pregnant?
Yes.
Ms. Bush, did you have any questions?
If something like this were to happen again, would you call law enforcement?
Yes.
And, you said that you're pregnant.
Yes.
And, do you have any concern for the safety of your child due to this kind of behavior?
He's never physically hit me, so no.
And, I noted that there was another individual named. What is your relationship?
That's my cousin.
Okay. And, does that person live with you?
No.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
Ms. Fowler, do you have any questions?
No questions, Your Honor.
Who's Tiffany Davis?
That's another girl that I guess he was messing around with or something. That's the girl that I caught him with.
Is Mr. Stringfield the father of the baby?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Stringfield, at this time I'm going to order you're not to have any contact with Ms. Womack. You are to maintain a separate residence. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. That is not a final order. It can be modified by the trial judge at a later date, but today, based on the information that I have, I am going to order no contact. And Mr. Stringfield, do you If you have any firearms, sir, those need to be surrendered to the police within 6 hours of your release. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Your bond is going to be set at $2,500.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Oh, that's okay.
No.
Sir, good morning. Your name?
Lamar Wolford.
It's Mr. Wolford, Lamar Wolford. It's case number 20CF7069. You were arrested pursuant to a probable cause warrant for aggravated stalking with a credible threat and assault. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Is there a witness for Mr. Wolford? Sir, you are not to have any contact with the victim. You're to maintain a separate residence. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms. Bond on count 1 will be $2,500. Bond on count 2 will be $100. Mr. Wolford, do you have any questions about any of the information on the no contact order?
I don't have a police report. I don't know what's going on. They just came, picked me up, put me in the car and brought me here. Can I ask for the record to stand that I would like for a fast and speedy trial?
Sir, yes, I've appointed the public defender to represent you. You can talk to him about that. And then, Ms. Fowler, is there a way for you to get Mr. Wolford a copy of the warrant and the probable cause documentation?
The police report, I don't have.
Right, so your attorney's in the courtroom with me, and I've asked her to provide you a copy of that information so you understand the facts of what's alleged of why you're here.
Yeah, I don't even know what the person said against me.
I know, I understand, and that's why I've asked your lawyer to provide you with that information.
How long will that take? Today, tomorrow, next week? I'm finna be in jail. I don't have no money to bond out.
I understand. Listen, she's gonna get that to you today.
And can I have you say that you accept my fast and speedy trial?
Well, I can't do that because you're represented by counsel. So they would have to file that motion on your behalf, sir.
Okay.
Thank you. Ma'am, good morning. Your name?
Elena Starr Dalton.
Miss Dalton, you are here in 20MM 147. You were arrested for battery. There is probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim. You're to maintain a separate residence. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. If you need a one-time return with law enforcement to get your things, you may do that. I am going to place you on pretrial release at this time. Ma'am, do you have any questions about the no contact order?
My question is, if he usually stays with his cousin, he's hardly at the house. If he has already moved his stuff out, can I stay in my house? Because the apartment's in my name.
Yes.
He's not on the lease.
Yes.
Okay.
That's correct. As long as he's not there.
He wouldn't, he'll probably be gone when I get home, so.
Okay.
He works.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
So to clarify, there's
Yes.
no bond to be paid. I get to go?
Correct. They'll explain everything to you before you go and what you need to do to check in.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Good morning, sir. Your name?
Good morning, Your Honor. Horatio Landano.
Mr. Landano, this is 20MM 486. You were arrested for battery domestic violence. There is probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You are not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. If you need a one-time return with law enforcement to get your things from the house, you may do that.
Okay, thank you.
And then, Mr. Londano, I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Good morning. Tell me your name.
Shanique Marlin.
Miss Marlin, you're here in 20 MM 4152. You were arrested for battery, dating, violence. There is probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim. You're to maintain a separate residence. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. If you need a one-time return with the police to get your things, ma'am, you may do so. Ms. Marlin, I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time.
Okay.
Thank you. Did you have any questions about the no contact order?
No, none.
All right, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Tell me your name.
Dominique D. Sanders, ma'am.
Mr. Sanders, you were arrested in 20 MM 485 for battery, dating, violence.
Yes,
There
ma'am.
is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am. Tell me your name, please. All right, Ms. Williams, could you please raise your right hand?
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God? Yes. Thank you.
Ms. Williams, do you want to have contact with Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you afraid of him?
No.
Okay. And how long have you been dating Mr. Sanders?
It's 1989.
Okay. Do you have any children together?
No.
Okay. Do you live together?
Pay attention.
You all right, Mr. Sanders?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are you listening?
Yes, ma'am. Your Honor, the police told me yesterday, he asked me, he said, do you know her? I said, yes. He said, if I ain't know her, he wouldn't have gave me dated violence. He would have let me go. But I had to be real with him and told him that.
I understand, Mr. Sanders. Listen, I understand what you're trying to explain, but I don't want you to talk to me about the facts of your case,
Yes,
okay?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, ma'am. Sorry,
All right.
ma'am.
Ms. Williams, if I were to allow contact between the two of you, do you have any concerns about your safety? All right. Mr. Sanders, I'm going to order that you're not to have any hostile contact with Ms. Williams. Do you understand what that means?
Can you, like, hostile contact?
It
like, I
means that
can't
you are
see?
not to, well, it means you can see her, but you cannot act aggressively toward her,
Okay.
disrespectful toward her. You can't argue, fight, or anything like that.
I agree, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
You're
ma'am.
also not to possess any weapons or any firearms.
I won't, ma'am.
Bond will be set at $500 in that case.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Sanders, based upon the facts in this case, I'm not going to revoke your bond today,
Yes, ma'am.
but if I were you, I would be treading very, very carefully because I see that you just bonded out
Yes,
at the
ma'am.
beginning of May on
Yes,
a
ma'am.
substantial bond with some pretty serious charges.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
if I see you back here arrested again while you're out on bond, I'm gonna revoke the bond,
I won't, ma'am.
okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, your name?
Good morning.
Tell me your name.
Lee Theogene.
Mr. Theogene, this is 20MM4154. You were arrested for battery domestic violence. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim. You're to maintain a separate residence. You may go back one time with the police to get your things if you need to. You are not to possess any weapons or any firearms. Mr. Theogene, do you have any questions about the no contact order?
No, ma'am.
All right, did you read that before you signed it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, have a good day, ma'am.
You too. Good morning.
Good morning.
Tell me your name.
Calvin Craig.
Oh, it's the one traffic case. Good morning, Mr. Craig. You are here in case number 20 CT 3658. You were arrested for driving while license suspended. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Mr. Craig.
Yes, ma'am.
Calvin Craig. The state was asking for your name.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
3 cases, no, 2 cases that I don't want, and this is that.
Okay. I only see one driving while license suspended conviction in the last 5 years. It was in September of 2015. Ms. Bush, I know you don't have any paperwork. Mr. Craig, did you want to enter a plea on this case today?
Like, I don't understand what would the plea would be.
So it would be an adjudication of guilt, 1 day in jail with credit for 1 day time served. You're not to drive without a valid driver's license.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Did you read the plea form before court this morning?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions about any of the rights you're giving up?
No, ma'am.
Are you on probation?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen that this plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you taken any drugs, alcohol, or medication that would affect your ability to understand what's happening in court today?
No, ma'am.
All right. Mr. Craig, I also need to inform you that the offense of driving while license suspended is an enhanceable offense. So this would be your second strike. If you get 3 within 5 years, you could lose your license for 5 years. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. I'm gonna get it right.
Okay. And that can also be filed as a felony. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And would you like to plead no contest at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 1 day in jail. You've got credit for 1 day time served. You are going to have to pay court costs, which will be due by June 8th of 2021. You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing. You are not to drive without a valid driver's license. And I'm not going to take any action on your out on bond case at this time.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, your name?
George Silva.
Mr. Silva, good morning. You were here in 2013 MM5046. You were, this is your arraignment for stalking. Looks like are you represented by Mr. Gigliotti?
Yes.
Okay. Did you think he was going to be here today?
No, I didn't. Well,
Okay.
yes, my wife told me that he will be here today.
All right. So at this time, Mr. Gigliotti or Mr. Silva, I'm going to give you some more court dates, and you can get in contact with your attorney, and he can file any motions that he thinks is appropriate.
Do I get a bail?
It's a violation of probation, so your lawyer would have to file a bond motion in front of Judge Shoemaker.
So that
This is not a bond hearing today. This is just your arraignment. And so I'm going to give you some court dates. Okay. Give me 1 second, Mr. Silva. Okay. Yes, so you're gonna be in Division 50. Your VOP status date is June 26th at 10 a.m. That's courtroom 7C.
Okay.
All right?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Could I get a release today if I get bond?
Well, I don't have a bond motion in front of me. You have to have your lawyer file a bond motion.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, your name?
Jared Champion.
Mr. Champion, you're here in 20 MM 139, your arraignment for the offense of trespass in a structure. Ms. Fowler, how would he like to proceed?
Your Honor, if the state has an offer, he can resolve.
Okay. Mr. Champion, did you want to resolve your case today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ms. Bush, are you going to be able to make any offers, or do you want the court to do that?
The state would be able to make an offer, however, the state would have concerns because this was a private residence and it did start off as a burglary of that private residence. But the state would make an offer. It appears that he's been here since April 7th on a felony matter.
It says he's got 44 days.
The state's offer would be an adjudication, credit time served, no contact with the victim or witnesses, no return to the residence at 255 North Calhoun Avenue in Maitland, Florida. And cost of investigation to the Maitland Police Department in the amount of $170.85.
Okay. All right. Mr. Champion, I don't know if you could hear that, but the state's offer is an adjudication of guilt, 44 days in jail with credit for 44 days time served, no return to the scene, no contact with the witnesses or the victim, and court costs, including cost of investigation of $170.85. Did you want to accept that offer, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you have a chance to read the plea form before court?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions about any of the rights on the form?
No, ma'am.
Are you on probation?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand, if you are not a U.S. citizen, that this plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you taken any drugs, alcohol, or medication that would affect your ability to understand what's happening in court today?
No, ma'am.
All right, and you'd like to plead no contest?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Champion, I will accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 44 days in the county jail. You've got credit for 44 days time served. You are not to return to the scene. You are not to have contact with the victim or any witnesses. You will have to pay court costs, including costs of investigation, to the Maitland Police Department in the amount of $170.85. Those will be due by June 8th of 2021. You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing, sir.
Okay, Judge, I have a question.
Sure.
I was out on bond, and when I came, with this case here,
They revoked it?
Bond, so what can I do to get out?
You need to contact your lawyer who's representing you on that case and have them file a bond motion.
There's nothing you can do about it?
I cannot, because I don't have a motion sitting before me, and everyone deserves to get notice of the motion. So you'll have to have your lawyer do that the right way.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Tell me your name.
Omar Maurice Gobin.
Mr. Gowen, this is 20 MM 3268. You were being arraigned for the offense of possession of drug paraphernalia. Is there any reason he couldn't resolve his case, Ms. Fowler?
There's no reason not to resolve his case.
Ms. Bush?
And the state offer would be an adjudication of guilt, credit time served, $87, cost of investigation to the Orlando Police Department, court costs.
Thank you. Mr. Gobin, the offer from the state is an adjudication of guilt, credit time served, and cost of investigation to the Orlando Police Department in the amount of $87. Did you want to accept the offer?
Yes, ma'am. This is the 2019 case, or this is
This is the 2020 MM 3268, possession of drug paraphernalia.
okay? But I also have a 2019. Can I get a resolved too as well? The
Well, I don't-
2019. Stephen Houston. I have a 2019, the same thing from last year. I want to get a
Just a
resolved.
second, Mr. Gobin, I can't hear someone else who's talking.
There's two other felony cases, 2020 CF 0047722AO, that's set at no bond.
Okay.
2020 CF 005161AO, it has 3 counts, each has a bond.
Okay. So, Mr. Gobin, I can't do anything on your felony matters this morning. You'll
No,
have
it's
to
not
get in
felony.
contact.
It's not a felony. It's a misdemeanor. It's the same thing. It's an open case from 2019. Yeah, my public defender is Stevenson. Houston. It's the same thing. It's a paraphernalia case from 2019. I got like 51 days in on that case. Yeah, I want to resolve it.
Well, let me see if I can find it.
Yes, please. Yeah, in 2019, please. It be on my shoulder. I'm gonna get over it. Yes, ma'am. It's the same thing.
Would it be under another name, Mr. Gobin?
It's my same name, Mr. Gobin. Yes.
It's closed. Why is it closed?
It's 5568.
Oh, I found 2019 MM 333.
This year, 2019 MM 5568. And
Oh, there's that too. That's close too. Oh.
maybe because we talked version.
Yeah. All right. We could resolve that case today too, Mr. Gobin.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes.
Yeah. And I will try to stay out of trouble.
Mr. Gobin, just one second. I'm trying to listen to the state attorney. Just give me a second, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Investigation to the Orlando Police Department in the amount of $58,000.
Thank you, Ms. Bush.
I'm sorry, what case number was that?
This is 19 MM 5568. It had originally been referred to pretrial diversion. It's in Judge Cameron's division. And then how many days in that case today?
I believe it's 22 days, but he had the order revoked soon.
No, it was back on May 20th. Or no, May 5th.
But you said he had May 5th?
May 5th.
He has 57 days on that case.
All right. Ms. Bush, he has 57 days on the other possession of drug paraphernalia case. Would the state be willing to do time served?
It would be time served, yes.
Okay. All right, Mr. Gobin, we're going to do both cases then.
Yes, ma'am.
Did I already ask you about the plea form? I can't remember.
Oh, no, you didn't.
No, I didn't? Okay. Did you read it
Okay.
before court this morning?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
All
ma'am.
right. Do you have any questions about any of the rights that you're giving up?
No, ma'am. No,
All right. Are
ma'am.
you on probation?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if you are not a U.S. citizen that this plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you taken any drugs, alcohol, or medication that would affect your ability to understand what's happening in court today?
No, ma'am.
All right. In both cases, I'm going to accept your plea of no contest, adjudicate you guilty in MM 3491, or I'm sorry, MM 3268, sentence you to 35 days in jail with credit for 35 days time served. You're going to have to pay court costs, including the cost of investigation to the Orlando Police Department in the amount of $87. And in MM 5568, I'll accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 57 days in jail with credit for 57 days time served, along with court costs, including the cost of investigation to the Orlando Police Department in the amount of $58. Mr. Gobin, all those costs will be due by June 8th of 2021. You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court.
Can you give me an extension on that? Extension, please?
It was a whole year. You have a whole year to pay. And if you can't pay, you need to go down to the clerk's office
Yes.
and request an extension or a payment plan through them.
Yes, I'm gonna need that.
All right, sir.
All right, 'cause I
Thank
got,
you.
I got one more case. All right.
Okay, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
Tell me your name.
Samuel Hamilton.
Mr. Hamilton, sir, you were here in 20 MM 3491. You were arrested, or I'm sorry, you were being arraigned for the offense of trespass on property or conveyance. Ms. Fowler, how would he like to proceed?
I thought I was.
Okay. Is there an offer for Mr. Hamilton, Ms. Bush?
Yes, Your Honor, I may have 1 moment just to make sure that there's no restitution.
Sure. Mr. Hamilton, I'm trying to see if the state has an offer for you this morning, so just hang tight.
Yes, ma'am. May I ask a question?
Sure.
Today, I thought I was scheduled for my pretrial for my felony cases that I got locked up for in 2018.
I don't know. I can look.
When I searched on the website, myorangeclerk.com, for these cases, it said that it's a trial hearing. I was scheduled for a trial hearing for those cases from 2018.
Burglary of a dwelling with an assault or battery?
Yes,
That
ma'am.
case?
Yes, ma'am.
I see June. So it was set for today for trial, but there was an amended order that was filed back on May 29th. And it looks like they changed your court dates. Are you supposed to enter a plea in that case?
I'm not sure about anything because I haven't talked to my lawyer. I've been trying to get in contact with my public defender.
All right. It looks like, to me, what it looks like, so they set you for a trial management conference on June 11th at 10 a.m. I think everything had to be reset because of the coronavirus, and they're trying to get all the hearings to continue now. And so your hearing for today has been reset till June 11th.
Okay, so I'm not here for the trespassing.
No, you are.
Okay.
I'm talking about your felony case that you were asking about.
Okay, yes, ma'am. So
All right.
I'm here today now for the trespassing.
That's correct.
Is my lawyer present at all?
She is.
Okay.
But you're a lawyer for the trespass, not on the burglary, not on the felony.
Okay, because I was told by my lawyer for the other cases that I'm not able to take a plea at all. So I'm not sure.
You don't have to. If you think it's not in your best interest to do that based upon the advice of your lawyer, Mr. Hamilton, you can just enter a plea of not guilty on this case and take care of it on another day.
Okay. I can do that then.
You'd like to do that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So you want to enter a plea of not guilty?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Let me give you a court date. You are going to be in Division 61 in front of Judge Johnson. The pretrial is June 29th at 8:30 a.m. in courtroom 6C.
Okay. I forgot the question I was going to ask. Do I still have a bond on that case?
On what case? On
The
trespass?
Yes, ma'am.
Does Mr. Hamilton have a bond on the trespass? It's $500.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. Good morning.
Your Honor,
Tell me your name.
my name is Trevon Mowat.
Mr. Mowat, this is 20 MM 4069, your arraignment for the offense of providing false ID to law enforcement. You are represented by the Office of the Public Defender, and how would he like to proceed, Ms. Fowler?
Your Honor, he does have an immigration hold. I would advise him that if he does resolve his case today, it may affect his immigration status. It may lead to deportation.
Okay.
So I would enter a plea of not guilty.
Mr. Mowat, were you able to hear your lawyer?
Excuse me, could you repeat that, Your Honor?
Sure. So she was just explaining that you have an immigration hold
Yes.
at this time. If you were to plead to this offense, it may adversely affect your immigration consequences. So she's advising that you plead not guilty.
Okay, yes, Your Honor.
All right. So we'll enter that plea of not guilty. You're going to be in Division 63. That's in front of Judge Bigney. Pretrial conference is July 23rd at 8:30 a.m. in courtroom 12C.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Good morning.
Hello, ma'am.
Are you Mr. Rivera?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Rivera, this is 20 MM 4068. You are being arraigned on the offense of battery domestic violence. Ms. Fowler, are you going to enter a plea of not guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Rivera, I'm going to give you a court date in Division 50. That's going to be June 23rd at 2:30 p.m. in courtroom 7C.
Okay, I have a question.
Sure.
So they said that I have another another hearing here at 12 p.m. for I think it's to get a bond reinstated because I got all my other RORs reinstated or granted, so that way I could go home. But all I need is one more left. I was wondering, is there any way that we could do that right now?
Well, I don't have a motion. Is there an add-on docket?
No, you didn't have one. Maybe it's in another court.
Let me look the case number up. Was it on this case that you needed a bond?
Yes, ma'am, because I got all my other cases a bond granted on. I just need this one last case to go home. That's it. Or either a bond or ROR, either or.
On 20 CF 5743. That's where it came from. With no bond. This motion is set for
So I was told I had two of them today, one at 7 a.m. here and then one at 12 p.m.
so you should. It's PTR.
You can follow that on this felony case and then you can on the back court.
Well, no, I'm looking at, so on this case, the one that he's in front of me, 20 MM 4068, that started as 20 CF 5743, and the judge entered an order granting PTR, and then they filed an information in as a misdemeanor. So he should be released on PTR on that misdemeanor case.
Right.
So do I have any more hold?
Oh, hold on, Mr. Rivera, please. I'm trying to listen to two people at once. Okay.
I'm so sorry, ma'am. I'm so sorry.
Thanks,
I'm
sir.
so sorry.
He has a felony case that he has to postpone on first before he has to before he has to be released on first.
Yes, I don't know why that's set for a hearing though. So Mr. Rivera, you've been placed on PTR on this case. You have another felony case that you have to post the bond on in order to be released. But you should be able to bond out then.
Okay, so I have no more holds. Is what I'm asking.
30,000. It looks like your bond on the other case is 30,000.
And I was asking, is there any way that you could lower that a little bit if you could?
I cannot. Maybe that's what the bond motion is for. I do see a hearing set on the 3rd, but I don't have the ability to lower that bond.
Okay, you're good. Thank you so much, Mayor.
All right, thank you,
if
Mr.
I post bond for that 30,000, I can go home?
That's right.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
That's good. Thank you, man. Have a wonderful day.
Are you Miss Curbello, yes?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Bush, you have that information? Yes, please. Okay, perfect, thank you. All right, Ms. Carl, the state's just handed me some information. I'm gonna take a moment to review it.
Okay.
All right. So I do find that there is probable cause for the offense of resisting officer without violence. Bond will be set at 500. I'm going to revoke the bond in 19 CT 1239. That bond will be set at none. Ms. Corbello, you'll have to have your lawyer file a bond motion in front of Judge Johnson on that case.
Please, can I just go home to my children, ma'am? I will do any program, pretrial release, whatever it is.
I understand, ma'am. You're going to have your lawyer file a motion. Thank you. Ms. Bush, do you need a minute before we start the 33-day motion? Sure. You have
already found the one that I didn't have.
Oh, good. Okay. All right. Let me just sign these two. (20 CF 5428) Antoine Ladson. That'll be granted. 20 CF 5439 Nalexis Morel.
Information was filed on June 5th. Filing ID is 108458072.
That'll be denied. 20 CF 5276 Duarte Forbes.
A notice of non-filing was filed on June 1st.
That will be granted. 20 CF 5450 Tyree Dante Lattimore.
A notice of non-filing was filed on June 5th.
That'll be granted. All right. Anything else for the morning session? All right, then court will be in recess.
Yeah, misdemeanor, city ordinance, felonies, and
Okay, James, shut up.
Come on, man. No.
I don't know if we have more of this in there.
Are we ready, Your Honor?
Yes, if you already.
Did the private attorney come back in yet?
I haven't seen him.
Okay. We have him here for Mr. Silva.
Yes,
Where do you want to do him first, or
if he's,
when he comes back in?
when he comes back in, I'll let you all know when I see him. Okay.
Okay.
Sir, good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
My name is Yoash Errol.
Mr. Errol, this is 20 MM 146. You were arrested for petty theft, second degree first offense. There is probable cause, sir. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Ms. Bush, do you have an offer for Mr. Errol?
Yes, Your Honor. It is an adjudication of guilt. Credit transfer, no return to the public. Restitution in the amount of $70.17 for the items that were not recovered. and no contact with victim and court costs.
All right. Mr. Errol, if you wanted to resolve your case today by entering a plea, the offer from the state is an adjudication of guilt, 2 days in jail with credit for 2 days time served. You'd have to pay restitution of $70.17. You are not to return to Publix and no contact with the victim. Did you want to accept the offer?
Is that the only way that I'd be able to resolve it today? What I wanted to know, I was talking to the public defender. She was
Yes.
interviewing me and had asked her if I would qualify for ROR because I had only had one failure to appear in the past, so that I would have the opportunity to resolve this at a later date because the bond amount would be a major hardship for me or my family. I wouldn't be able to afford it.
Right, so if you resolve the case today by entering the plea, you do not have to pay the bond. So the case would be over today. You wouldn't have to come back to court for it and you would be released today.
But I'd have to be adjudicated guilty?
Correct. You already have 7 felony convictions and 9 misdemeanor convictions on your record.
Okay. I'll go ahead and resolve it today.
You want to resolve it today?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Errol, I'm just going to have to ask you to speak a little more loudly into the microphone. The court reporter's having a hard time hearing you.
I'm going to go ahead and resolve today, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Did you have an opportunity to read the plea form before court this morning?
No, I did not.
All right. Please take a moment to review the plea form and let me know if you have any questions about any of the rights.
That was from the PD. Here, read this right. All right. I've read it, Your Honor.
All right, sir. Do you have any questions about any of the rights that you're giving up?
No, Your Honor.
Are you on probation?
No, Your Honor.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen that this plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you taken any drugs, alcohol, or medication that would affect your ability to understand what's happening in court today?
No, Your Honor.
All right, sir. I'm going to accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail. You have credit for 2 days time served. You will have to pay court costs, including the cost of restitution of $70.17 to Publix. You're not to return to Publix or have any contact with the victim. Your costs will be due by June 8th of 2021, and you have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing. Thank you, sir. Ms. Bush, are you going to provide the court with a restitution order, or should the clerk add that to the order? We'll provide one. Okay. Good morning, sir. Your name?
Keith Brown.
Mr. Brown, you were arrested for possession of drug paraphernalia and disorderly conduct in 20 MM 4156. And you can't hear?
They talking. Sorry about that.
That's okay. I think they're going to get you some headphones.
No, I don't need headphones. No. You can hear the door was open.
Oh, okay. Mr. Brown, you were arrested for possession of drug paraphernalia and disorderly conduct. in 20MO 696 and 20MM 4156, there is probable cause, and I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Ms. Bush, was there an offer for Mr. Brown?
Yes, Your Honor, for a global offered adjudication of guilt, 2 days credit time served, and court costs.
All right. Mr. Brown, did you want to accept the state's offer of an adjudication of guilt and credit for time served?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Did you read the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions about any of the rights that you're giving up?
No, no, ma'am.
Are you on probation?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen that this plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Have
ma'am.
you taken any drugs, alcohol, or medication that would affect your ability to understand what's happening in court today?
No, ma'am.
All right, I will accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail with credit for 2 days time served. That will be on both cases. You will have to pay court costs. Those will be due by June 8th of 2021, and you have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Denise, only put court costs on one of the cases.
No problem.
Okay.
Court costs wait on one.
Correct. All right.
Court reporter saying that it's muffled. She's making some.
Their microphone? Mine too?
No, theirs, just a different. Adjust it, or use the other microphone?
Maybe, Dexter, maybe we could use the other microphone, or Officer Taylor, or Officer Williams, anyone who can hear me. Maybe this microphone, can we switch those out to see? The court reporter's having a problem hearing into the microphone. Mr. Brown, could you just say your name for me?
Keith Brown.
Doesn't sound better to me. All right, thank you, Mr. Brown. You're all finished, thank you.
Okay, will I be released tonight or?
You'll be released today, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor, the next person on the docket is Ruben DeSauce.
Yes.
He won't be attending due to behavior.
Okay. All right, this is 20MO 4157. I'm going to waive Mr. DeSource's appearance based upon his inability to come to court due to his behavior. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent him. He's not to return to the travel lodge and abide by the trespass warning. I'm going to release him on his own recognizance at this time.
Your Honor, the case number
20MO 4157. Dexter, it looks like counsel's here for Mr. Silva, is that right? Okay, good morning.
Okay, Your Honor.
I'll take care of, is this Ms. Fondario?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Ms. Fondario, you are here in case number 20MM266. You were arrested for petty theft. There's probable cause. Is there an offer for Ms. Fondario? The beer was recovered.
of guilt. And this is with the knowledge that she has a prior petty theft. It would be 2 days credit time served, and then return to the CPS, adjudication of guilt, order and reserved as to restitution, and no return to the scene, and no contact with witnesses.
We could barely hear the state.
Okay, I'm going to repeat that. Ms. Fondario, I'm going to have you speak very loudly into the microphone. We're having an issue with the court reporter, so just make sure you speak up when you're answering my questions, okay? Okay. Thank you. The state's offer to resolve your case today is an adjudication of guilt, 2 days in jail with credit for 2 days time served, no return to the CVS. You have to pay court costs, including potential restitution. I will order and reserve as to that amount for 60 days and no contact with the victim. Did you want to accept the offer?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you read the plea form before court this morning?
Yes, I did.
Do you have any questions about any of the rights that you're giving up?
No, ma'am.
Are you on probation?
No.
And do you understand that if you are not a U.S. citizen, that this plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes.
Have you taken any drugs, alcohol, or medication that would affect your ability to understand what's happening in court today?
No.
I will accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail with credit for 2 days time served. You are not to return to the CVS or have any contact with the victim. You will have to pay court costs, including restitution. I will reserve for 60 days as to the amount of that. The other court costs will be due by June 8th of 2021, and you have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Your Honor, did you appoint the PD for that?
I did not. Thank you. All right. Mr. Silva, correct?
Yes.
All right. Kelsey, you want to come forward? Please tell me your name. Sure. That's fine. Did you say Galati? Gelati. Yeah, I guess it is.
Your Honor, I'm sorry to
yes.
interrupt, but we can't hear the power attorney at all.
Mr. Gelati, I'll just have to ask you to speak very clearly or loudly into the microphone. They're having difficulty hearing. I don't have his paperwork from this morning. So I saw Mr. Silva this morning. It was set for an arraignment.
Yes, and I had received some, I guess, bad intel from the JA because there's been a subsequent change. I was told to be here at 11, and I was kind of wondering what was happening.
Yes, and yes, these changes, this is our first day back here.
Yes,
and so those changes actually happened late last week. But from now on, weekday IAs will start at 9 a.m. And then and will be located here at the jail until they change it again or tell us something different. But in any event, Mr. Silva did come up for arraignment this morning. It was related to a stalking domestic violence case. I gave him dates for a pretrial conference. Was there something else that you wanted to be heard on?
I just was concerned that he understands that substantively we would not be able to get into anything relating to his case this morning. So I just wanted to make sure that was clear to him once it was made clear to me. I didn't know whether, when I came in today, there'd be a chance of resolving it. I've learned, of course, that there would not be.
Sure.
And I just made sure to clarify that with him.
Okay.
There wouldn't be anything else.
Okay, yeah, I explained to Mr. Silva this. Mr. Silva, your attorney is present in the courtroom, and that's who I'm speaking with.
Yes.
And I'm just kind of relaying him the information that we talked about today. He had asked me about setting a bond. I don't believe he has a bond. Right. In this case, it's the VOP, and I informed him to get in contact with you to have you file a bond motion in Division 50 to see if that was something that might be able to be done. It's something I wouldn't be able to do today. And then I also told him that his court dates court date is going to be June 26th at 10 a.m. in courtroom 7C in front of Judge Shoemaker.
Very good.
And I think that's everything. Correct, Mr. Silva?
Yes.
Okay. You're welcome. Have a great day. Thank you, Mr. Silva.
Have a nice day.
Good afternoon. Your name?
Leander Melendez.
Sir, you're here in 20 MM 4144. You were arrested for trespass in a conveyance. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You are not to have any contact with the victim. You are not to have any contact with your co-defendant. Your bond, sir, is $500. I'm revoking the bond in CF 6855. That's going to be set at none.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Ernest Joseph Powell.
Mr. Mr. Powell, this is 20 MM 4158. You were arrested for trespass on property after warning. There is probable cause. Ms. Bush, is there an offer for Mr. Powell?
Yes, Your Honor, it's adjudication of jail 2 days, Wood County Jail, 2 days credit time served. No return to the library on East Central Boulevard. No contact with witnesses. Abide by all trespass warnings and court costs.
Your Honor, Mr. Powell works at the Orange County Library.
Your Honor, I'd like to plead not guilty.
No problem, Mr. Powell. Is there a way that we can maybe switch the microphones again, or is there a way to turn the microphones up? The court reporter's still saying that she can't hear anything coming out of courtroom 2.
I'd like to plead not guilty and take the trial.
I understood you, Mr. Powell. Just give me 1 second. I'm trying to fix this technical difficulty we're having with the microphones.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, he does not work there and he's okay to plea.
Okay. He's indicated he'd like to have a trial. All right, Mr. Powell, maybe if we put both of the microphones together.
I'd like to, yes.
Mr. Powell, I heard what you said about your request for a jury trial. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance at this time, sir. You are not to return to the library. Do you understand?
Okay.
You'll need to get in contact with your lawyer to make sure that you appear at your next court date and to talk about your case.
Okay.
All right, thank you, sir. Good afternoon. Your name?
It's Byron Smith.
All right. Did Mr. Rozier bond?
Pretrial release, Your Honor.
Got it. Mr. Smith, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Sir, you are here in case number 20MM 4146. You were arrested for resisting officer without violence.
Yes,
There
ma'am.
is probable cause, sir. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. I'm going to stay your bond at $500. I'm going to revoke your bond in 20 CF 4828 and 20 MM 2818 or 2518. 2518. Those are going to be set at none, sir. Thank you.
The next person on the docket, Your Honor, Alexander Vega, Lanza, a medical.
All right. Alexander Vega Lanza. And I apologize. Could I have the attorneys place their appearances on the record? I forgot to do that at the beginning.
Edith Bush for the Office of the State Attorney.
Thank you.
Sarah Manikia for the Office of the Public Defender.
Thank you very much. Ms. Manikia, do you want to, well, first let me ask Ms. Bush, do you know if there was an information filed on the misdemeanor, the out on bond?
I don't know, Your Honor, but
Yeah, I already did. How about it?
yeah, Your Honor, information was filed on May 20th.
Okay. And then this, were you prepared to make an offer on the new case today?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So Ms. Manikia, I'm going to suggest maybe resetting his case for tomorrow to see if he'll be able to come to court. Officer Taylor, does it appear that Mr. Vega Lanza would be able to attend court tomorrow?
I don't believe so, Your Honor.
Is he like being quarantined?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Well then, I'm gonna appoint the public defender. Ms. Mandikia, do you wanna waive his appearance?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so that's 20 MM 4148. He was arrested for carrying a concealed weapon and possession of alcohol on the street. There's probable cause. I'm going to release him on his own recognizance at this time. He's not to possess any weapons or firearms, and I'm not going to take any action on the out on bond case.
Who do you have next up, Your Honor?
I have Mr. Hodges.
Okay.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
You're here in 2018 CT 910. You were arrested for violating your probation. At this time, sir, your bond is set at none. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Was this the one that had the recommendation? Do you remember what happened to that?
Yes, Your Honor.
There was?
Yes.
What was the recommendation?
No bond, but if he wants to plead 60 days Orange County Jail, credit time served, revoking term probation.
Okay.
And do you want to hear the rest of it?
Just, sure.
It's DUI school and show proof of completing to the clerk.
So was it to D6 his driver's license until completion of the DUI counterattack school?
Yes, Your Honor, and COS to collection.
And then the cost of supervision.
Show proof of completing victim awareness.
Okay. As related to the driver's license? And as related to his driver's license being reinstated? The proof of completion of the victim awareness program?
It just says that he's to show proof of completion of the DUI counterattack school and show proof of completing the victim awareness program because it's a DUI and there is
Right. Was that offer being relayed to Mr. Hodges?
Yes.
All right, and how much time does Mr. Hodges have in? You know?
Okay.
Mr. Hodges, if you wanted to resolve your case today by entering a plea, the offer is 60 days in jail. You have credit for 7 days. Your probation would be revoked and terminated. Your driver's license would be suspended until you completed the DUI counterattack school. You would have to show proof of completion of that as well as the victim awareness program.
Well, I try to go and get over it then.
Pardon me?
I go and get over it then.
Okay. You can also enter a denial and have your lawyer file a bond motion and have a hearing. Those are your two options today.
Now they go get over it.
You'd like to plead?
Uh-huh. Don't get over it.
All right, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, Mr. Hodges, then you admit that you violated your probation by failing to pay your cost of supervision?
Yes, ma'am.
And by completing your community service hours. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir. I'm going to accept your admission, adjudicate you guilty, revoke and terminate your probation, sentence you to 60 days in jail. You have credit for 7 days time served.
Yes, ma'am.
Your license will be suspended until you've completed the DUI counterattack program as well as the victim awareness program. You need to show proof of completion of those two things to the clerk. Your cost of supervision will be sent to the clerk's office for payment. You'll have to pay any outstanding costs of supervision or court costs, sir. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I think that's everything. All right. 60.
Complete the DUI and the victim awareness.
Come get over here. We'll come back over here.
No, he just has to complete those before he gets his driver's license.
License.
Correct. All right, Mr. Hodges, that's all. You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing, sir.
What you say now?
Thank you. Ma'am, good afternoon. Your name?
Elizabeth Adams.
Ms. Adams, you were here in 20 CF 7062. You were arrested for possession of fentanyl, possession of oxycodone, and possession of drug paraphernalia. There's probable cause, ma'am. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You are not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription. Bond on count 1 is $1,000. Bond on count 2 is $150. Bond on count 3 is $100. I am going to revoke your bond in 20 CF 3315 and set that at none, ma'am. Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Augustin Antoine.
Sir, you have 2 cases this afternoon. I will appoint the public defender to represent you in both. You've got 20 CF 7077. You were arrested for fleeing and eluding, resisting officer without violence, possession of cocaine, possession of codeine, and possession of drug paraphernalia. There is probable cause. Bond on count 1 will be $100. Bond on count 2 will be $3,500. Bond on count 3, $150, 4, $150, 5, $100. And in 20 CT 3662, you were arrested for driving without a valid driver's license. There is probable cause for that offense, sir. Your bond will be $100. I am revoking the bond in 20 CT 491, 18 CT 1005, and 20 CF 3403. Those will be set at none, sir. Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
My name is Joshua Adolphus Gordon Sr.
Mr. Gordon. Sir, you are here in 20 CF 7081. You were arrested for burglary to an occupied structure and criminal mischief greater than $1,000. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to return to the scene or have any contact with the victim. Bond on count 1 is going to be $1,500. Bond on count 2 is $150. I'm revoking the bond in 20 MM 3429 and 20 CF 2226. Those will be set at none, sir. Thank you.
Excuse me, ma'am. You got the wrong.
Yes.
You have the wrong case number. It's 242297.
That's the new case. That's the first case that I talked about. You had 2 other cases that you were out on bond for. Those were the cases numbers that I just said. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon. Your name?
Good afternoon.
Tell me your name.
Chaz DeLeon Horn.
Mr. Horn, you're here in 20 CF 7083. You were arrested for throwing or shooting into an occupied structure or dwelling, violation of a injunction, and criminal mischief. There's probable cause, sir. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You are not to have any contact with the victim. You're to abide by the injunction in 20 DR 4492. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms or return to the scene. Bond on count 1 is going to be $5,000. Bond on count 2 will be $100. Bond on count 3, $100. I'm revoking the bond in 20 CF 2246. That will be set at none, sir. Thank you.
So what you mean by that? By the last month you revoked it, so that means I have to repay it?
That means you have to get it reset. So you'll have to have your lawyer file a bond motion in front of the judge who's assigned to that case.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Count 2 and 3 was 100, correct?
Yes. Ma'am, good afternoon. Your name?
Courtney Rose.
Ms. Mills, you're here in 20 CF 7088. You were arrested for burglary of a structure and petty theft. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to return to the 7-Eleven. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance at this time. You're to contact your lawyer within 24 hours of your release and appear at all court dates, ma'am.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
John Santoro?
John Santoro?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did Mr. Ramos bond?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then Mr. Reyes bonded?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Santoro, you are here in case number 20 CF 7065. You were arrested for possession of ecstasy and possession of drug paraphernalia. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You are not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription. I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Jar Sailor?
Mr. Saylor, this is 20 CF 7092 and 20 CT 765. You were arrested for possession of cocaine, introducing contraband into a county facility, and DUI with a BAC higher than .15. There is probable cause for all of the offenses, sir. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to possess or consume any alcohol or controlled substances without a valid prescription. I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Deanna Paul White, the next person on the docket, bonded.
All right.
Your Honor, what was the name of that defendant?
The bonded?
Yes.
White? You're welcome. Are you Mr. Williams?
Ma'am.
Sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Williams, you are here in 20 CF 7093. You were arrested for robbery. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You are not to return to the Wawa. You're not to have any contact with the victim or possess any weapons or firearms. I'm going to set your bond at $500, sir.
And why is that? Why can't I have any firearms?
Because you have been accused of robbery, which is a crime of violence, so you
Okay,
can't
is
possess
that
any
armed?
weapons or firearms.
Okay, was that armed robbery? Was that strong armed robbery? What kind of robbery was that?
I'm changing my order. Mr. Williams' bond is going to be $2,500. Thank you, Mr. Williams.
Your Honor, the next person on the docket, Maurice Williams, mental health.
I'm going to reset Mr. Williams' case.
Your Honor, the next person on the docket, Roderick Chambers, hospital.
I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent Mr. Chambers. Ms. Manikia, do you want to waive his appearance?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and that's 19 CF 2926. He is alleged to have violated his probation by moving without getting permission. His bond is set at none at this time. Good afternoon, your name, sir?
Christopher Mervar?
Mr. Mervar, you have two cases.
Yes.
You were arrested in 20 CT 3663 for driving under the influence,
Yes.
greater than 0.15. There is probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you in both cases.
Thank you.
Bond on the DUI is going to be set at $500. There's a violation of probation in 17 CF 13324 based on the facts in 20 CT 3663. There's probable cause for the violation of probation. I'm going to set bond at $2,500, Mr. Mervar.
Okay, thank you.
You are to report to probation within 24 hours of your release from the jail. You are not to possess or consume any alcohol or controlled substances without a valid prescription, sir. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
All right, sir, thank you. Yes. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Brandon Thomas.
Mr. Thomas, this is an out-of-county warrant from Polk County related to a violation of probation. At this time, the bond is set at none, sir. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office here in Orange County to represent you. Hey, Dexter, have they started picking up any of the inmates?
Yes, they have, Your Honor.
They have?
Yes.
From all of the counties, or?
I'm not sure if all of them are picking up, but they have started picking up as of today.
Okay, great. All right, Mr. Thomas, I'm still not sure how much the transportation is working between the counties. I'm glad to hear that it started again today and that they're starting to transport folks. But in the meantime, just in case for some reason that Polk County doesn't come, because prior to the coronavirus, usually they had 3 days to come and get you. And I'm hoping that has started again. But I'm going to appoint the Orange County Public Defender to represent you here in the event that Polk County doesn't come to pick you up.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, my probation was here in Orange County. So how I get a violation in Polk County?
So it looks like the probation began in Polk County. Did you have it transferred to Orange?
Yes.
So although your probation is now in Orange County, because it originated in Polk, that's where the violation would stem from. It doesn't mean that you violated it in Polk County. It just means that it was originally a Polk County case.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm not going to take any action on the Orange County battery case today.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right. And I believe that's everything, yes? All right. Thank you. Court will be in recess. Oh, did you have something?
No.
No? Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right.